Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the 10th episode of PHP with MySQL crash course for beginners, arrays, JSON, and regular expressions, also known as regex. In PHP, arrays are data structures used to store multiple values in a single variable. They allow you to group related data items under a single name. And there are three types of arrays: indexed arrays, associative arrays, and multidimensional arrays. And here we have got our Visual Studio Code as our code editor, and if you need to learn more about VS Code, you can watch my VS based series and find the link in the description below. So let me bring up my Explorer and let's select sample, and I'm gonna make a copy of our sample and let's rename it as arrays.php. Let me close the Explorer as well as sample. And let's make sure that you have also launched your XAMPP server. So let me bring up my terminal and let's change the directory to opt lamp enter, and let's list the directory. And to launch the XAMPP server, you will need to execute this file. So sudo manager -linux -x64.run. Hit enter, and that launches our XAMPP server window. And make sure that you click on this start button to start your Apache web server. So let's click on this start button, and it'll take a couple of moments to start the server. That's starting, and as it starts, now let's minimize this window as well as the terminal window and get back to VS Code. And to make sure that you have successfully launched XAMPP server, let's add a couple of PHP tags, and let's echo hello world, and let's add semicolon. Hit save, and let's bring up our browser, and now let's browse localhost /php tutorial / and the name of the file that we have just created, which is arrays.php. Hit enter, and we have successfully launched our XAMPP server. Let me resize the browser as well as editor. Let us get back to arrays. Let me cut that line of code from there, go to the next row, and first of all we are going to jump into indexed array. Let me add a comment there as well, indexed array. Let's comment that out. An indexed array in PHP is a type of array where each element is associated with a unique numeric index. For example, let me add a new variable here, say colors. It's going to be equals to, and you can define an array by invoking a function, built-in function array. And that also suggests you a name. Since we have already defined one, we don't need that. So I have removed that suggested name. Within parentheses, you will need to pass here elements, say red, comma, within quotes, green. That can be string or numbers. And the third would be, say, blue. And that actually defines our first array. That includes a couple of colors, red, green, and blue. Now to display this array to your browser, you'll need to call here built-in function, which is print_r, and pass the variable as an argument, say colors followed by semicolon. Hit save, and nothing happens because we haven't turned auto reload on. And to make it work, you will need to start a couple of extensions, say, and make sure that you have already installed this live server as well as PHP server. Now to start live server, just click on this go live button, and that will open a new tab. Just close that tab for now, and let's get back to VS Code. Right click and click on this option, PHP server, to start PHP server. Let's click these, close these notifications, and the terminal. I accidentally close the file. And after starting both the extensions, you will need to manually refresh your page once, and let's make sure that it's working. By the way, we have got our array, and let's make sure that auto reload is working. Let me echo here, followed by semicolon, hello, save, and we get that. Let's cut that line of code from there and hit save again. So that's how you can echo array. Array actually includes the value and the key. So this is the key of this element. We have got 3 elements in this array, red, green, and blue. So all of these elements associated with their keys and values. So the value is red and the key of this element is 0. In PHP, arrays always start with 0. As you notice, it's starting from 0. And then we have got second array, and the key is 1, and the third array, the key is 2. Now you can access elements within an array using their respective indices. Say if you want to access or echo only one of the elements value, which is this third element, say that is blue, so you can access that. Just say, let me add some comment there, accessing an element, or say individually, or say specifically, yeah, individually does, accessing an element. Let's comment that out, go to the next row, and let's echo within quotes, say first, or say second element, element, element of the array, colon, and let's concatenate. Let's concatenate dollar colors followed by square brackets, and here you will need to define or specify the key that you want to echo. If you want to echo the value of the second element, you will need to specify here its key, which is an array always starts from 0. So this is 0 and this is 1. So let's add here 1, and let me wrap my editor followed by semicolon, hit save, and let's also add couple of line breaks, hit save, and the second element of array is green. That's how you can access any individual element of an array. Secondly, let's talk about associative array. Associative array, let me add a comment there. Let's comment that out. An associative array in PHP is a type of an array where each element is associated with a specific key or name. It allows elements to be accessed using unique keys that you define. For example, let me define an associative array first. So let's add $person is going to be equals to, say, array, followed by a parenthesis and semicolon. Let's go to the next line, and let me define it first, then I'll explain it to you. So that's gonna be name. It's going to be equals to fat arrow, say that can be John, followed by comma, and I'm gonna make a couple of copy of this template. So second element would be age, that can be number, say 30, and the third element would be city, that can be New York, and we don't need this comma at the end. The fourth element would be email, and that's going to be equals to john@example.com. Hit save, and we don't get any error. Let me zoom out a bit. Alright, so that looks pretty fine now. Now you can access all of these elements just by their unique keys. Say for example, let's access an element of an associative array. Let's comment that out, go to the next row. Let me add some room there before we move on. Alright, and also scroll all the way up, and let's echo within quotes name colon, and let's concatenate $person and its key, and in this case this is name. Let's copy that from here just to avoid any typo error. Let's paste that in here, and followed by semicolon, and also add some line break there, line break, and hit save, and we get name John. Let's add some space there as well. Hit save. Alright, so next let's echo age, followed by, or let's make a couple of copies, and let's change, let me change it to age, and let's specify its key, which is age. And third we have city, the key is also city, and at the end let me cut this last copy, we don't need that. And finally we have email, that can be email. After each of element, let's add some line break, otherwise hit save, and we get all the data. And that's how you can access an element of an associative array. After that, let's move on to multidimensional array. Multidimensional array, let's comment that out, multidimensional. Alright, so multidimensional array is an array that holds other arrays as its elements. Each element within multidimensional array can itself be an array, allowing for a grid-like or tabular structure with rows and columns. So let me give an example for that. I'm gonna define a new array here, say students. It's gonna be equals to array followed by parenthesis and semicolon, and let's go to the next row, and here you can define another array. We don't need name there because that's gonna be an element of this students array. And let's define a couple of values here, say John, comma 22, and remember that this is not an associated array, this is just an indexed array. So the age would be 22 and gender would be male. And let's cut that and add a comma, and let's make a couple of copies. And the second would be Emily, age can be, girls are always 16, and let's make it female. And the third would be, say, David, and his age can be 21 and he is male. Alright, so that's how you have defined multidimensional array. And to access such type of multidimensional array, that's quite simple. Accessing an element of multi-dimensional array. Let's comment that out. Go to the next row and let's echo within quotes name colon. Let's concatenate $students followed by, say, if you want to access first element of this array, you can access that by, say, the 0, because this is the first element that can be represented by 0, and its first element is John, so you can access that just by 0. So let's add colon, hit save, and we get John. Now if you want to access the gender of this second element, you can do that just by, say, gender of a second element, and that should be, now the first key would be 1, that represents the second element, because arrays always start from 0. So this is 0 and this is first, and this is the third element. But as far as keys are concerned, this is 0, 1 and 2. So let's add here 2, and do not forget to add some line break just for better representation. Hit save and let's scroll down. Gender of a second element, female. And say if you wanna access the age of your third element, you can do the same. Let's make a copy of it. Let's wrap the browser, and you can access it just by, that should be 2, 0, 1 and 2, and this is the second element, so that can be accessed just by 0 and 1. The key of this second element is 1, and after that let's add some line break as well. Hit save and we get, no, that shouldn't be age of third element, that should be age of a third element. Hit save. Let's browse down. So that is 21. So that's how you can access an individual element of multidimensional arrays. After that, let's move on to array functions. Let's discuss some commonly used built-in functions in PHP related to arrays. So let's add here array functions. Let's comment that out, go to the next row, and let's scroll all the way up. And before we move on, I'm gonna define a new variable here, say fruits equals to array within parenthesis followed by semicolon, and let's add a couple of elements here, say apple, comma, orange, comma, banana within quotes. And as far as functions are concerned, first of all we are going to jump into is print_r that we have already discussed in our previous episodes. Anyways, let's add a comment here, print_r. Let's comment this out. So print_r is a function used for debugging purposes to display structured information such as an array in a human readable format. Let me give an example of it. Here we have print_r, and let's pass here $fruits as an argument followed by semicolon. Hit save and let's browse down, and do not forget to add line break. Hit save and that should do. We have got, so that's how you can display the elements of your array. Secondly, let's talk about var_dump. Var_dump. Let's comment that out. Say if you want to display detailed information about an array, for example data type, length, key and value, you can use var_dump. So this is one of the cases, and the second case is say var_dump, var_dump, and let's pass here $fruits as an argument and hit save, and the result is like this. So after print r, let's add some line break, hit save. Alright, so that's how it shows you the information about this array, this var_dump, that displays data type, length, key and value in just one package. After that, let's move on to how you can loop through an array using for each loop. So let's loop through an array. Let's comment that out, and that we're going to start with say using for each. Let's comment that out as well, and let's scroll all the way up. So say if you want to loop through this array, which is fruits, apple, orange and banana, you can loop through it, say for each, and that snippet gives you the template of our for each, and the first argument would be fruits, and the second argument represents the key, and the third represents the value, and you can access them one after other. Say echo, and say if you want to echo the value or the key of the first element or each iteration, you can access it just by their key or value. So the key of the current element is colon, let's concatenate here $key followed by colon, and let's make a copy of it, and the value of the current element is, let's replace it with value, and hit save and see what we get. So let's add a line break here, and after each of these echo, line break and line break, hit save, and let's see what we get. So that's how you can loop through the key and the value of each element of an array. After that, if you want to add an element to an array, you can use array_push. So let's add a comment here, and if you have PHP IntelliFence installed, you will get all of these suggestions related to array or functions, all of these functions related to array. And I'm going to use here array_push. Let's comment that out. Now let's scroll all the way up, and say if you want to add, right now we don't have any third element or any fourth element in this fruits array. We only have apple, orange and banana. Say if you want to add some new element here, array_push, and that will need two arguments. First of all, the array, which is $fruits, and the second argument that you want to add to this array, and that can be kiwi, followed by semicolon. And now if you print _r, and let's add fruits followed by semicolon, and remember to add some line break before and after. Hit save, and let's scroll all the way down. If you notice that now we have apple, orange, banana, and kiwi. So that's how you can add any number of elements to your existing array. Now we are going to move on to array pop to get the last element from an array. So array underscore pop, and let's comment that out. And for that, I'm gonna define a new variable here, say last element equals to array underscore pop, and here you will need to pass your array. So in this case, dollar fruits followed by semicolon, and let's go to the next row and let's echo last element from the array, and let's concatenate last element followed by, let me wrap the editor, followed by semicolon, and hit save. And we have the last element is kiwi. Next thing, you would like to move on to that how you can merge arrays. Let's comment that out and let's scroll up. So for that, I'm gonna define a couple of arrays. Array underscore, let's make this array1 is going to be equals to array. Let's cut that because we have already defined a name, and let's add a couple of elements, say within quotes a, and that's gonna be associative array. Fat arrow, and the value would be red, comma, let's add b, followed by fat arrow, and the value would be green. And let's make another copy of it, and let's change this to array2. Let's change the elements as well, say that's gonna be C, and the value would be blue, that's gonna be D, and the value would be yellow. Let's go to the next row, and I'm gonna define a new array here, say merged array equals to array underscore merge, and here you'll need to pass your arrays that you wanna merge, say dollar array1 and the second array, and any number of arrays you can pass here as an argument to merge. And let's go to the next row, and let's add echo within quotes. Hope I added line break. Let's add a line break there, and within quotes let's type in here merged array, colon followed by semicolon, and let's invoke print underscore r, and let's pass the array that we have just defined, merged array followed by semicolon, and let's add some line break. Hit save. So now we have got merged array. Now you'd like to get into is how you can retrieve keys and values from an array. Retrieve keys and values from an array. So let's comment that out, go to the next row, or let's scroll all the way up. And for that, let's copy this array, and let's paste that in here. Now first of all, let's try to access keys of an array, and for that I'm gonna make a new variable. $keys is going to be equals to, and to get the keys from an array you can invoke a function called array underscore keys and pass the array here, array1 followed by semicolon, and let's invoke print underscore r to get the result, and pass the recently defined array, which is $keys semicolon. Let's add some line break. Hit save. Let's go all the way down. So that's how you can get keys of any array. So we have got A and B with their newly generated keys. Let's scroll up. Now let's try to access values of an array. Let's comment that out, and here let's define a new variable, say values is going to be equals to, or let me array underscore values, and let's pass the same array here followed by semicolon, and let's get the result by print underscore r. Let's pass in here values followed by semicolon, and let's add some line break. Hit save and get the result. So now we have got a new array with the values of previously created array. After that, you would like to sort an array. So let's scroll up, and in PHP you can sort arrays using various built-in functions. First of all, you would like to sort an array in an ascending order. Let's comment that out, and for that let's define a new variable here, say numbers equals to array. Let's cut that from here. I always forget that it suggests you the name as well. So let's add 4, 2, 8, 5, 1. Let's go to the next row, and to sort this array in an ascending order, you will need to call sort function and pass in here the recently created array. And let's go to the next row, and let's call print underscore r to get the result. Say numbers. Hit save. Let's add some line break, save, and get the result. Now we have got array that has been sorted in an ascending order, say 1, 2, 4, 5, and 8. Otherwise, we added elements in this fashion. Second, if you want to sort an array in a descending order, let's comment that out, go to the next row, and you can invoke our sort function and pass the array here, numbers followed by semicolon. Go to the next row, and let's call print underscore r to get the result, and the array that you have just sorted. Let's add some line break, hit save, and get the result. Now it has been sorted in a descending order, 8, 5, 4, 2, and 1. Next, if you have an associative array and you want to sort it by keys in an ascending order, say associative array in ascending order. Let's comment that out, and first I'm gonna or see we have already created. Say let's find that out. Person, I'm gonna copy this associative array from here. Sorry, Control C, let's go all the way here and let's paste that array here. If you notice that we have an element, its key starting from N and then A, C and E. Now let's shuffle it a little more. I'm gonna take this H element to the very end, then E before C, and let's add a comma there. Now if you wanna sort this associative array as per their keys, you can invoke a function, say ksort, and pass the array here. And let's call print_r and pass the person as an argument followed by semicolon. And let's add some line break. And let's scroll all the way up, hit save, and let me close this find dialog box, and let's scroll all the way down. Now if you notice that it has sorted this associative array's keys in an ascending order. Say H, first we have H, then city, then email, and then name. After that, let's sort it in descending order. Let's comment that out, and let's copy everything from here and let's paste that in here. Now to sort your associative array's keys in descending order, you need to call here function, say krsort, and let's hit save and see what we have. Now it has sorted these keys in descending order, starting from name, email, city, and then age. Let's cut that empty line from here, save, and next let's move on to an associative array, and you want to sort it by values in descending order. We have got values here, and or let's sort associative arrays values in ascending order. Let's comment that out, go to the next row, and before we move on, I'm gonna define a variable here. Say numbers equals to array followed by parenthesis and semicolon, and let's add a couple of elements here. Say B, and the value would be 4, and let's copy this template from here, paste, and let's paste it a couple of times, say 4 times. Let's make it A, and the value should be, these values should be an integer, and this key should be A, and the value should be, say, 7. This key should be D, and the value should be 2, and this key should be C, and the value should be 9. Now to sort arrays values in ascending order, you can invoke function, built-in function, say asort, and let's pass in here the recently created array numbers followed by semicolon, and let's call our favorite function, which is print_r, as well as pass in here the recently created or modified array, and let's add some line break. Hit save and get the result. So that's now 2, 4, 7 and 9. So that's how you can sort associative arrays values in ascending order. And after that, let's sort the same in descending order. Let's copy this whole block of code from here and let's scroll all the way up. Let's paste that in there. And before we move on, let's fix the indentation. Sort, or let's make this descending order. And you can sort values of an array with the function arsort. So if you notice that I have added here r, so that's a function you can sort arrays values in descending order. Let's save it and get the result. So this is now 9, 7, 4 and 2. Now we are going to move on to JSON. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. It is a widely used data interchange format that facilitates data transmission between a server and a web application. In PHP, JSON functions allow for easy conversion between PHP data types and JSON format. Let's explore it with an example. I'm gonna add a comment here, say JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. Let's comment that out. And before we move on, I'm gonna add an associative array here. Say sample array is going to be equals to array underscore followed by a parenthesis. Oh, sorry, we don't need this underscore here. And let's add a couple of elements here. Say name, fat arrow, and the name can be John Doe. Let's add a comma and let's copy this template a couple of times. And now let's change the values here. Say the second would be age, then email, or I guess we have it here. Let's cut that from here. Let's see, yes, we have a person array here. Let's paste that in here, and I'm gonna make this sample array to avoid any confusions. First should be name, and then let's age, email, and instead of city I'm gonna add a new element here, say skills, and let's add a new array here. That's gonna be, say, PHP, comma, JavaScript, comma, HTML, comma, and then CSS within quotes. So hopefully that's it. And say now if you wanna encode this PHP array to, say, PHP array to JSON, you can do that just by, say, I'm gonna make or define a new variable here. Say JSON data is going to be equals to JSON underscore anchored, and let's pass our array here, sample array, as an argument. So that's how you can encode any PHP array to JSON format. Now it's a kind of a string, so you can echo it. So let's echo encoded JSON data, and let's concatenate JSON data followed by semicolon, and let's add a couple of line breaks. Hit save, and let's scroll all the way down. So this is the format of let me maximize the browser. So this is the format of JSON data from here till here. So it's a kind of string. And now say if you receive such type of data, you can decode JSON data to PHP array. Let's comment that out just by, first I'm gonna echo, say, decoded. Let's scroll up and let's define a new variable here. Say decoded array equals to, or say decoded JSON equals to, sorry, let's undo that, decoded array. And you can decode that just by invoking a function, say JSON underscore decode, and let's pass the encoded data, which is $JSON data. And you also need to pass here another argument, which is true, otherwise you won't get the result. And now let's output the decoded array. Say decoded PHP array. Let's go to the next row. Let's add some line break, or encoded JSON data, and I'm also gonna add some line break here, and let's echo and add some line break there. Cut that, and let's add some line break, or sorry, we have already. And now let's echo decoded array followed by semicolon. That should be within print underscore r, because now it's an array, so you can't echo it. So let's hit save. Decoded array. Why do we get decoded array? Array name, age, email, skills. Okay, because we have another array inside an array, so that's why we get this another array here. I was getting confused of it. After that, let's move on to regular expressions, also known as regular expressions, also known as regex. Let's comment that out and let's scroll all the way up. Regular expressions are powerful patterns used for matching and manipulating text. They allow you to define search patterns that can match specific strings or patterns. For example, let me define a new variable here, say pattern, and let me define the value first, then I'll explain it to you. Within /, and now let's add caret there, hello, and after hello I'm gonna add \d. Within curly braces let's add 2, 4, and at the very end let's add $sign. Now let me explain you what this pattern is all about. The pattern should be within the delimiter. Say this is the pattern and these two are the delimiters. So the pattern should be within the delimiters, and the delimiter can be any character that is not a letter, number, \, or space. The most common delimiter is the /, but when your pattern contains /, it is convenient to choose other delimiters such as hash or tilde. Say hash, this is the hash and this is tilde. So you can use these as delimiters. Let's cut that, and then we have in this pattern we have this character which is called caret. It asserts the start of the string, and then we have hello. This hello matches the later characters hello, and then we have this expression starting from \/ followed by d, and then within curly braces we have got two values, 2 and 4. So this expression matches 2 to 4 digits, and then at the end we have this $sign. It asserts the end of the string, and after that, so now that's a pattern that we'll search for. And now let's define a couple of variables where we will actually search this pattern. So I'm gonna add here a string. That's gonna be string 1, or let's keep it lowercase. String 1 equals to, within quotes, say hello 1, 2, 3 followed by semicolon, and let's make a couple of copies. That should be 2, and escape that, and that should be 3, and the value should be 4, 5, and let's make this one say hi. Okay, now let's add if else statement here. Say if you find the match, you would like to echo, say match found for, and let's concatenate, say string 1. Okay, and if you don't find the match, let's copy or add semicolon, and if you don't find it, let's echo no match found for string 1. And now as far as this conditional part is concerned, there is a function which is prag match, and this function is called to match any patterns with the strings you have. And here you will need to pass 2 arguments. First, the pattern that you want to search, and second, the string that you want to search it with, in our case which is string 1. Let's cut that from here, and now if I hit save, see what we get. Sorry, before that let's add a couple of line breaks, hit save, and see what we get now. So actually we have found for hello, match found for hello. Now if I change that, let's make it 2, hit save and see what we get. That says no match found for hello 1 2 3 4 5. And if I make this say 3, save, that again says no match found for hi 1 2 3. And now you would be interested in that how you can construct this type of pattern in regular expressions, and that involves understanding the syntax and elements used to define patterns. And for that you can find the detailed repository in the comment below. And that was all about arrays, JSON and regular expressions. If you have any question, you just feel free to comment below, and do not forget to like, share and subscribe the channel. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for watching and see you next time.